Thank you guys for getting up this morning. Was anybody up this morning when it was snowing out?
What?
You joking?
You saw? Okay, so I'm not alone.
What?
5 o'clock this morning, I have a puppy. And she wanted to go outside. She's from Louisiana. We got up, went outside, it was snowing. I don't know who was more mad, me or her. Thankfully it was gone. You guys didn't see it. It's all good. But seeing snow in April, not what I wanted to see today, right? So, Creative Mornings. I love Creative Mornings. It's my first one being one, because living out in Metro West, getting here in the morning is not an easy thing. But I'm so psyched to be here. You know, it all started with a tweet when I saw they needed some help with video and photos, and I said, oh, what do you need help with? And they're like, hey, you want to speak? Oh, crap, okay, and the topic's humility. Okay, I couldn't just do last month when it was ink, and I could talk about that would have been a lot easier, right? But, just so you know, I am a creative. I've always been a creative. I love to create. How many people in this room consider themselves a creative? I'm glad to see most of me. I know not everybody. I mean, it's fun because I teach a class at Bentley, and I have a marketing class, and I have one accounting student in there, and I always pick on her. I'm like, you don't understand this, you're a numbers girl, it's okay. But I love her, she's great. She's a great student. But I've always enjoyed creating. I'm not so much a painter, as you can see, I've never enjoyed painting, but taking pictures, making things, it's what I love doing. So I wanted you to know that I'm one of you, all right? This is where I grew up. I grew up in the middle of nowhere. Does anyone know where the Upper Valley of New Hampshire is? Yes. How do you know where the Upper Valley is?
My boyfriend's from Lyme.
Oh, okay. All right. Lyme, yeah, it's right on the outskirts. That's the rich section of the Upper Valley. That's Dartmouth College area. No. Oh, I can pick on them? All right. Lyme, where the hoity-toity people live. It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful place. But that's where I grew up. I grew up in a small town. I come from a blue-collar family, right? So the idea of being humble, I joke about being the humble New Englander, because I'm raised in New Hampshire, and you can see there's not a whole lot around, right? Lots of trees, lots of Dartmouth College, like up there, out of the way. But that's where I grew up. And this is the guy who taught me everything I know. Maybe. That's my dad. My dad, he's a forester. That's what he did for a living. He got his degree in forestry. He had me when he was 18 years old. My mom was 19. Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. But everything I've learned, I learned from him. Thankfully, he's still with us. He's the best grandpa ever. My kids love him. It's awesome. But he taught me what it meant to be humble, right? And it's something that what I want to talk about today with humility is it can be a dangerous thing. I love being humble. It's what, we're going to talk about that. But being creatives, it can really get in your way sometimes. Oh, I'm glad you, all right, people are like, yeah! I was worried, people were like, what the hell are you talking about? So, let's start here, right? You're going to do a talk on humility, what do? You go out and you Google it, define humility. I want to see what the official definition is. And this is what I saw, right? This is Merriam-Webster Dictionary. The quality or state of not thinking you are better than other people. All right, I agree with that. I can dig that. That's what I agree. But then, this is the part I didn't like. Synonyms: demureness, down-to-earthness, humbleness, lowliness, meekness, modesty. And I'm like, what the hell? So all I see is that, right? All of a sudden, this is what the definition to me is. And I'm like, that's what I'm going to talk about. Because I don't think humility is meekness or lowliness. I think it happens. We make ourselves be meek. And it sucks. And that's what I want to tell you. I want you to break away from that. Because creatives have that problem where we go, we're not worth what we think we are. I paint, I draw, I take photos, whatever it is I create. And we get meek and we get low. And I don't want anybody to leave here today thinking that way. So if I get at least one of you to walk out of here going, yeah, I've done my job. All right. How many people have seen this Creative Morning talk? For the love, oh, Jesus, people. Really? The fuck you pay me speech is the single best video you will ever watch. Screw I love Ted. Forget Ted, forget any other speech. No, watch this speech when you're done. It is absolutely amazing. If you've never seen Goodfellas, you may not know the line, but it's a famous line from a movie. watch this speech. It'll inspire you to just, the next time someone wants to hire you for free or someone doesn't value you, watch this. I watch it every couple of months, and I keep it on my iPad. It's one of those great things where you're just like, no, fuck you, pay me, you know? Yes, this is a safe zone. I'm glad you kicked it off. I usually don't swear on stage. But yeah. When I saw that, it made me think of this talk. And while I can't begin to touch this talk because it is so good, I'll do my part. I'll try to help. But yeah, so when you get home, CreativeMornings.com, just put fuck you, pay me, it'll show up. It's the best, what is it, 38 minutes? All you need to do is watch the first 10 minutes, you're like, yeah. All right. So here's what I want to talk about. If you do not value yourself, nobody else needs to. Nobody else will. You need to value yourself. You have to, even if you're humble, you have to go, wait a minute. My time's valuable, my knowledge is got value. In today's world, it's one of those things, like if you're a photographer, everybody thinks they're a photographer now because we all have this great production studio in our pocket, right? I've got one. I love it. I love my phone. It's got everything I need on it. Doesn't make me a photographer. Doesn't make me a professional photographer. That's for damn sure. You want to write? Anybody can write. Anybody can blog, right? Except a blog, you're suddenly a journalist. No, you're not. You're a writer. You may not. Journalism is a very specific thing. But at the end of the day, it's one of those things where if you accept free too often, don't get me wrong, you're talking about this being a free event. Speakers don't get paid either. I'm here because this is amazing. Everything's free, right? Everything's for the love of it. That's different. If this event was selling tickets, it'd be a whole other conversation about me speaking at it. There's different things. But you have to value yourself. And when you don't value yourself, you're not just hurting you, you're hurting everybody else. I once upon a time got on stage and said, mommy bloggers ruined it for everybody else. And I said it, I'll say it again. And I don't mean, there's not a slam, I was a dad blogger for a long time, so I'm just picking on them. I love them, I love my mommy bloggers. But what I'm talking about is too often, bloggers especially, gave everything away for free. Oh, you're going to give me a gift certificate for $5 to write about this product? Or you're going to give me one of those products and I'm magically going to write about it? There's nothing wrong with reviews. I love them. But at the same time, that became the norm. And now when someone's like, what do you mean you're not going to write about me for free? Or you don't get excited about my neat little contest? No, I don't. Because too many people didn't value themselves for too long. So think about the other people. It's kind of like, I'll touch the third rail, it's kind of like vaccines, right? It's not just about you, it's about everybody else around you. I didn't know how I was going to go over. I was so worried, I was like, do I touch it, do I not? Let's see what happens, okay? And there is a difference, right? There is a big difference between confidence and cocky. I hate cocky people, I hate them with a passion. You know, we all know them, right? I'm sure you think, oh, I know that person. Confidence is one thing. Saying, I'm good. Like when I walked into here today, I was like, I can't wait to speak. I love this room. This room is amazing, by the way. Emerson, kids, awesome. This is a great venue. But this would freak some people out. You know, I'm right here talking to these people. I mean, this is different than like hiding behind, they want to put a podium up here. I'm like, no, I'm confident. I'm good. I'm not cocky. I was nervous as all hell, sitting out there waiting to go on. Because I care about what I'm going to say. But I am confident in what I do. And you have to figure out that it's not that you can be humble and confident at the same time. And I'm speaking from the heart too because I'm this way. I'm the guy who's like, I'm not worthy to speak there. Or I'm not worthy to accept that contract. Or I'm not worthy to take these photos. So this is all coming. This talk, the more I got ready for it, the more I was like, God, this is like me. I got to listen to what I'm saying to myself. But don't mix these two up. They're really close. They get bunched together a lot. They're not the same thing at all. And humble is good, I said that, right? Being humble is a good thing. Knowing that no matter how good you are, no matter what success you get, no matter what level of knownness you get in today's world, being humble at the end of the day is a really good thing. That's the New Hampshire boy in me, you know? Being able to just go, I'm just a kid from New Hampshire. I mean, I remember, so way back, podcasting's like the new crazy thing, right? In 2004, I recorded a podcast, right? 2005, I had the most popular indie music podcast in the world. I was making money podcasting, I had sponsors, I was speaking around the world, right? And I'll never forget my dad. He brings it back, he goes, man, I'm so glad that didn't go to your head, you could have been a real asshole. And I said, no, Dad, you taught me right. And anybody who knew me back then, I would say, I'm just a guy with a microphone. That was just it. I was just a guy with a microphone, sitting on my desk, trying to raise my kids, trying to make it. And that was the truth. And I always loved in the early days, and now we can't even think about this, but in the early days of podcasting, no one knew what anybody looked like, nobody knew anybody. And like we'd go to meetings or we'd go to conferences and people were like, oh, Cece, you're just like you are online. And I used to always laugh because I'm like, what does that mean? Of course, why wouldn't you be? We all know those people, right? They put on the persona, you know, all the Instagram selfies and stuff. I have a 14-year-old daughter. It's crazy following her friends. The stuff they post. Oh, if I see one more set of duck lips, I'm going to scream. And this is the other thing. People can't say yes if you don't ask them. I try to teach my kids this, especially my son. You know, guys are idiots. We don't know how to ask girls out and all that type of stuff. And I'm like, just ask. Girl pair, ask, because no one can ever say yes, right? And this is so true as a creative. Write people emails. Say hello to people. Ask them. When I wrote to Creative Mornings, it wasn't in the hopes of speaking, although I would have loved to have done that. It was more just, hey, is there any way I can help? Let me know. And their yes was, if I hadn't sent that simple email, I wouldn't be here today. And I've really learned this, that you have to reach out to people sometimes. If you like somebody, reach out to them. Another great Creative Mornings, if you haven't seen, I know it's featured on the homepage now, is Chase Jarvis, who is I'm a huge fan of his photography and his work and his approach to life. I was in Seattle a couple years ago, and I dropped him a note and said, Chase, I know you're the busiest dude on the planet. Any chance we can grab coffee or something? It's like, oh, hell no, we're going out for dinner, let's go. He didn't know me from Adam. He was just like, yeah, let's go. And the guy, I mean, this guy, if you don't know Chase, Chase is a world-renowned photographer. I mean, this guy's getting flown around the world. He's a big deal, and I was shocked. But if I hadn't asked, he would have never said yes. So don't ever let your humbleness get in the way of things. It just, again and again, I've realized, especially in today's world, where everybody's approachable, they may not answer, but everybody's reachable. You can get in touch with anybody. You spend 5 minutes of research online, you can find an email address, you can find a phone number. Reach out to them. You want to do something? You want to speak at a future one of these? Reach out to the organizer. Say, hey, I'd love to talk if there's ever a chance. You want to shoot photos at a gig, at a concert? Reach out to somebody. You want to, I don't know, you want to do an art gallery? Whatever you want to do. Don't be held back, because they can't say yes if you don't ask. And humility gets in the way of that. I don't know how many times I've like, I would love to do that. And then I don't. Because I'm like, nah, I'm not good enough. Nah. I lose that confidence. I get too humble. And that's dangerous. You open those doors by kicking them in a little bit. And this is the other thing. As much as you want to say yes, you got to learn to say no. This took me a long time. Hey, Cece, you want to fly halfway around the world and come speak to a big audience? Oh, yeah, no, we're not going to pay you anything, and you're going to be gone for 4 days. Oh, yeah. In the early days, of course, you say yeah, but then you realize, oh, crap, I'm away, and my wife's going to take care of the kids, and all the logistics. Being, the idea of flying around the world's nice and it's fun. Don't get me wrong, I love to travel. But you have to learn to say no. You have to learn to say no when that person says, like recently, I needed some help with a logo design. I asked a friend of mine. I said, hey, can you design this logo for me? She's like, yeah, here's how much it's going to cost you. And it was funny, because for a minute I was like, oh, crap. And then I went, wait, no, she's right. She should charge me. We're friends. I got the friend rate. It's all good. I didn't ask her for it for free, even though I was kind of thinking it when I reached out to her. But I was glad she didn't. I'm like, no, I'm glad she's charging. Because she realized, no, Cece's going to use this for something. She knew her value. She knew her worth. She wasn't being cocky. She knew what she needed to be paid, and I paid her. That's the way it should be done. And when you say no, because if you say yes to something, we've all done this, right? You say yes to something, and then you regret it. And I'm not just talking about boys and girls, because we've all been there before. But you say yes to something. The breaking point for me was, I remember I said yes to a speaking engagement that I didn't really want to do, but it was like in a cool location. And then I got approached about speaking somewhere not so cool, but paying a lot more. And I had to say no, because I had said yes to something else. And trust me, it only takes one of those times for that to happen when you go, okay, never ever again. And I promise you, no gets easier the more you say it. It's not easy because, wait, this person is reaching out to me? And just a slide before, didn't I tell you to reach out to people and hope you hear yes? You're not going to hear yes every time. You're going to hear no. And you should say no to some people when it's not right for you. A student calls me up or emails me, I always say yes if I can help them in any way. Big company wants to talk to me, whole other story, depends what they want. You've each got to figure out your boundaries. What's right for you, what's wrong for you. I'll speak to any Boston event for free because I don't have to travel anywhere, it's local, I love it. And the funniest thing, by the way, if you're ever curious, if you ever want to start speaking, you'll very rarely speak local. It makes no sense. I hardly ever speak in Boston, right? It's the weirdest thing. I don't know what it is. Right? It's weird, isn't it? But it's the truth. But learn to say no. It's weird how that is the hardest word to say sometimes. Because you're flattered, right? Oh, this person's reaching out to me for whatever it is I do. And to say no to that, but you gotta learn it. because it's back to that valuing your time. Time is the most valuable resource in the world. It took me 42 years to figure that out, but it's really hard. You can't get it back. You can always make more money. You can always, relax some other time. You can't get that time back. God, you can't do it. I wish someone figured that out. And so, amazing things do happen. And I had to add this slide last night. No kidding, because it shocked me. Anybody use Time Hop? It's a great little app, tells you what you did. 3 years ago today, my life completely changed. 3 years ago, this morning, I was on the ground in Ghana, in Accra, Ghana, in a hospital, and met this little girl, Mercy, who I can't put in a slide because I bawled my eyes out. She changed my life forever. A little malnutrition girl, had been there for 3 weeks, sadly passed away after we left. But it was the moment when I went, okay, I've got all these marketing skills, I know all this stuff, I am never going to use it for anything but good ever again. And I came home and I said, I'm using my powers for good. Social good, NGOs, nonprofits, that's where I'm focusing all my efforts. And this moment is actually, this is at the countrywide vaccine rollout. They're rolling out pneumonia and rotavirus. Countrywide. First country in the world to roll out 2 vaccines brand new. And the first lady's there, and there's all these dignitaries and all these elders, and I get this note. A little piece of paper, and it says, Cece, big fan of your work, hope we can meet. I'm in Ghana. What the hell is that? Literally. And I was like, and I'm asking the people I'm with, I'm like, what is this? Is this, what is this? Is this a joke? What's going on? And it turns out, this kid, he's been reading my stuff. He read my first book. He lives in Ghana. He's a blogger. And he came to the event and hoping to meet me. I'm like, what? How is that possible? And it was just from years of creating stuff and doing stuff and being a good person. And this happened. And the story of going to Ghana, how I got there, I saw a friend of mine who I knew at PBS. Didn't know her really well. It was one of those friends, on a buddy. A lowercase f friend, as I call them. Oh, that's a whole other thing. Uppercase, lowercase friends. Big, you all know what I'm talking about. Yeah, see, yeah. Big difference. But she sent out one of those emails saying, hey, I got a new gig, here's what I'm doing, I'm at one campaign now, da-da-da-da. I'm managing this thing called the One Moms. They'd been to Kenya the year before. And I literally sent her a reply back and said, congratulations, Janine, that's awesome. If you ever need a dad, let me know. And I've told the story before, she's like, all right, you got 7 weeks, get all your shots, we're going to Ghana. If I hadn't asked that in that email, kind of totally joking, I was like, I didn't know this trip. And then 7 weeks later, I'm on the ground in Ghana. We landed 3 years ago yesterday. I couldn't believe it's been 3 years already, because so much has changed in that time. But meeting him, and we still talk on Twitter and stuff, it was a random little moment. And it was one of those moments where it all kind of came to a head. So the key thing you have to do, you have to find the balance that's right for you. The balance between humility, between confidence, between charging for your work, for not charging for your work, for doing what you love and doing what you need to do. This morning I met a girl here who's here somewhere, and I said, and we were talking about, so what do you do? She's like, oh, I'm a singer, and then I forget, and she said, but I do this to pay the bills, this other job. And I know we have to do that as creatives, right? Making a living doing what we love is not easy. I'm living that right now. It's not easy. But it's pretty damn rewarding when you can make it work. So you have to find the balance between the two things. You have to find the balance between, I have to find the balance every day between paying for my mortgage and sending my kids to college in 2 years, which I don't want to think about, and being happy and not feeling like I'm selling my soul every day. You have to find that balance. And it's not easy. And anybody who tells you it is or it's full of crap. I mean, I remember when I wrote this book, Amazing Things Will Happen, I remember I kept thinking to myself, who am I to tell people how to live a happy life? I'm a young guy, so I hopefully got more years ahead of me than I do behind me. And I always remember my editor, we were on the roof in Austin, Texas, having drinks at South by, and she's like, well, if you don't tell them, who else is going to? Would you rather some jerk selling a $99 book on how to live a happy life would tell them? I'm like, no, I want to tell them. But having that confidence to write a book and put it out there for all eternity was difficult. It was finding that balance between just writing it for the sake of writing and actually meaning it. I'll tell you, it's really weird to write a book trying to tell people how to live a happy life when you're at home going, am I doing the right thing? Or, and it's really awkward. I'm the most positive guy in the world in those moments. Like this winter sucked, not just the snow. It was rough. That the dark days of winter can be pretty, soul-sucking, and this year was extra bad. Gaping void, I always talk about it. I use this in no matter what I'm talking about. I'll be in a room full of CMOs and I still stick this thing out. Gaping void, this guy, it's all good. You got cool hair, it's all good. Gaping void is Hugh McCloud. He draws cartoons for a living. This is one of his cartoons. But I think drives home, you know, the fact that you got to remember who you are. You got to remember what you're doing. You got to remember what makes you happy. He draws cartoons for a living now. And he was funny. I hope he doesn't mind me telling this. I haven't told him. A couple of weeks, Hugh and I are not close. I mean, we're not like friends. I mean, we know each other, we're buddies, we'll see each other, say hi. I bought plenty of his artwork, it's hanging on my walls. And all of a sudden I get this phone call the other day, and it was from you. And I'm like, hi, well, hi. I didn't know what, I didn't recognize the number, and I usually never answer the phone. If you ever want to get in touch with me, don't call me. I don't answer the phone, I just don't. I hate the phone. But I love talking to people, it makes no sense. And he called me up because I reshared this blog post I wrote in 2011 talking about being a storyteller in residence, how I thought that was a cool title. You know, you have the entrepreneur in residence, you have the creative resident. I have a storyteller in residence, that'd be really cool. And he called me up, and he's like, Cece, shut up. What? And he's like, listen, stop talking about wanting to do this stuff and just do it. He's like, pick a brand, go tell their story. He's like, that's what you do. He's like, just do it. Why are you waiting for permission? You of all people. And I'm sitting there, I'm listening to this conversation, and he was just dropping random, honest, just smacking me around on the phone. And I'm like, my God, here's this guy, I love his work, and he's calling me up and yelling at me. And I get on the phone call, and I said, man, thank you for doing that. I said, none of my friends, my really close friends, had smacked me around like this, and here a near stranger calls me up and slapped me around. And it helped. It helped a lot. It snapped me out of my rut. I was like, oh my God, you're right. Why am I waiting for permission, right? Beg for forgiveness, no, don't ask for permission. Don't ever tell your kids that because they bring it back around on you in a really bad way, but I love my kids for doing it. Yeah, but when you get around to having, when you become a parent and you want strong-willed kids, yeah, when you're like, God, not anytime soon. You want your kids to have to be very strong-willed, and it's the hardest balancing act. I have a 14-year-old daughter who is just, she's gonna kick ass, take names all over this world. I love her for it, but it's tough being a dad with that girl, but I love it. So make sure you remember who you are, and if you need a kick, have those friends that'll smack you around and tell you things, or strangers. I still can't believe Hugh did that. And I'm still confused by what made him, off of a tweet, call me up and be like, dude, stop it. But I love him for it. And I need to buy him more art, buy him more beer, because he helped me in a big way. And finally, yeah, that's Nadia. Anybody who follows me after this is going to, I warn you now, we've had her for 3 weeks. She's on everything. I've installed Nadia now. My wife's jealous, my daughter's jealous. If you're not having fun doing this stuff, stop doing it. I'm not talking about the work. I understand sometimes you go to work, you dread it. But have fun. Being a creative, creating things, changing things. The world we live in today where we can do anything we want, you know, you get an idea, you can create the app, the site, whatever it is tomorrow. You can do it in an afternoon. You can have a business the next day. You hear someone's doing something cool, you can invest in it with your time or your money or your passion. There's so many great things going on in the world. And too often people forget to have fun. It's amazing so I do a lot of talks on like content marketing and all that formality crap, which this is much more fun, trust me. And when I tell them to have fun, they freak out. Like, but we're business people, or we're this. And I'm like, well, you're humans. There's nothing better than puppy dog kisses in this whole planet, you know? It's the best thing in the world. And I look like a goofball, and I don't care, because I'm having fun. And you gotta have fun. Well, if you can't laugh at life, it's a lot suckier, right? Those moments when, how's your day going? It's okay. Laugh about it, shake it off, have fun with it. Enjoy your time on this earth, because we don't have enough days. You're never gonna, I called my consultancy Never Enough Days, because I firmly believe there's never enough days to do everything you want in the world. We don't know if we got tomorrow. Any of us, we don't know if we have tomorrow, right? So have fun while you're here, make it count, do everything you can, fight till your dying day to do what it is you love, and have fun doing it. And that's what I had to tell you this morning.
Time before everyone has to run off to their day jobs. So that was awful. That was just dripping with sarcasm.
It was.
So let's. If some of you have to run, I know this is like kind of hard to get out here, but don't feel bad if you got to go. Otherwise, let's do about 5 minutes of Q&A if you guys want to. So just raise your hand and CC will call on you.
Wow, it sucked out.
Awesome. All right. All right, let's get one more. Oh, no, there we go. All right.
Yeah.
See, I love guilting audiences. That always sounds like,
I was just curious, so thank you. You defined humility, but I was curious, how would you then look at and define confidence? Like, what would that look like to you?
confidence to me means that you're comfortable enough, you're comfortable enough in what you do and who you are to say it to the world. Example, someone gave me, the guy from the coffee, which is great coffee by the way, gave me a hard time because I didn't say I was a photographer in any of my profiles. And he's like, you got to say that. And I don't, even though I'm very confident in my photography, I very rarely promote that because I'm not confident enough, I guess. Or I know there's better photographers. Plus photography's always been a hobby of mine rather than any professional thing, even though I get paid for it sometimes. So confidence is knowing yourself enough and your skills enough and who you are enough that you can tell others, I guess. I'll go with that, yeah, that works. Wow, dictionary time, yeah.
Yeah, following up on that, as a creative, I guess all of us find that we're never done with whatever we create because I guess we're not confident enough to just give it to the world. How do you battle that?
Perfection sucks. Perfection is fake. Perfection does not exist. Get it out of your head. I have a very, very, very dear friend who perfection is his downfall. This guy, I love him to death, and I would say it even if he's in the room, even though I know he's not. Perfection gets in the way of him publishing, for him putting it out there. He creates beautiful things, but he's always like, it's not good enough. Shut up, put it out there. I think you have to let it go, because part of being a creative is getting that feedback, even if it sucks. Is getting that, you have to be confident enough to put it out there in the world. Seth Godin, although he's not necessarily a creative, one of my favorite authors, talks about, you have to ship. If you don't ship, you're not doing it. You're not a writer, you're not a painter, you're not a photographer, you're not actually shipping stuff out and putting it out there in the world. And I think, while this is easier to say than do, I think the true creative wants their stuff out there. If you don't want it out there, if you're keeping it and hoarding it, I don't think you're doing yourself any favors. Because you never know when someone's going to see your creation and be like, oh my god, I love that. Yeah, you're going to have haters, you're going to have people trash it. I mean, you should see some of the comments I've gotten for the books I've written or the blog posts, and I'm okay with that. It gets easier, don't get me wrong, it still hurts. Nobody likes to create something and be told it sucks or they don't like it. But striving for perfection is, you just kind of got to put it out there. I do it now because I've gotten better with my photography, and I look at some of my old photos, and I'm like, oh my god, I could fix that, And I could. I've thought about bringing them back in Lightroom and tweaking them and stuff, and I'm like, it's not worth it. I'd rather create new ones. It's not easy though, right? I mean, putting it out there because you're gonna get it's putting a piece of your soul out there, right? I mean, it's difficult, but I think don't strive for perfection. Strive for good enough with you, because at least if you feel good about it, put it out there. Yeah.
Me?
Yeah, you. No, you.
Me. Thank you so much. By the way, I found out about this talk by following Twitter and saw your tweet this morning.
Twitter isn't dead yet.
As a journalist, I appreciate actually what you're saying about journalism. And also, how do you're speaking motivationally, how do you self-motivate? How do you stay with the blog? My biggest thing is being consistent as a creative. I like to do a lot of
Wait, consistency is part of being creative?
I'm sorry. So there's two parts. How do you stay with it? How do you,
I'm much better at giving the advice than following my own advice. I don't think I've blogged now for a week and a half. And I haven't written in a week and a half. That's a long time for me. But I also write when I feel like I have something to say. I've never been one of those. I would be so much more successful. I wrote this book, Content Rules. International bestseller, one of the first books on content marketing. I sold bazillions of copies, all this other crap that you won't hear me because I'm too humble to talk about it. The smart thing would be to start writing about content marketing every single day. The smart thing would have been to create infinite books after that. What did I do? I followed it up with a self-help book because that's what I wanted to do. Wasn't following the business advice. I watch all these other people who've rise and are making way more money than I am talking about content marketing. I'm like, I was there first. I could have totally, but I didn't want to do it. What keeps me motivated is every day I get up and I try to do at least one thing every day. Doesn't always happen. Some days I get lost in the click stream of social media, which I hate. What's going on Facebook? What's going on Instagram? What's going on? And then all of a sudden there's an hour, 2 hours gone. I'm like, what did I do? What's really helped me lately, and it's funny because I finally asked my wife and she put them up to it. One day my son came home from school. The best thing in the world is I get to be there when my kids get home from school. And my son came in and he said, "Hey Dad, what did you do today?" And I'm like, he said, no, what did you do? And I'm like, son of a bitch, I'm 16. But it was, it was the most random thing because he was like, he wanted specifics. And that day I hadn't done anything really worth, and I was like, that motivated me. So now I'm ready, every day I try to have an answer for him. If he comes home and he pulls that card again, tries to be a smart ass, I try to have an answer for him every day. I make lists all the time. In my notebook, I try to keep, very rarely check things off, I seem to forget about that. I also, when I get up in the morning, I try to not check email for a couple hours, and I try to be creative then. Not always the case, you know, sometimes. That's hard. You know, inboxes are evil things. But yeah, I just try to always be creating, always trying to be happy doing what I do. You know, it's why I bring whatever your tool of creativity is, bring it with you wherever you go. You know, my camera's with me always, even though I might not take a single photo. I have it with me. You know, I always have a notebook with me, so I'm always writing down stuff. If I was smart, I would just stop worrying about how to make money, which I can't do because I got to feed my kids, and just create all the time. I would love to be in that situation, but it's not reality. So you have to balance that making money, paying the bills, because being a starving artist sucks. There's nothing good about being a starving artist at all. Make sure you make a livelihood of some sort. Yeah, so every day I just get up and I try to do at least one thing, do it really, really well. Some days are better than others. Some days it's more time. But yeah, having a 16-year-old check you like that, drive the point up. This was literally like a month ago. I still don't know what brought it. My wife was laughing at me. She was like, "What do you mean did I put him up to it?" I'm like, "I don't know. I didn't know where he got it all of a sudden." Yeah.
Once you ship something and you actually take that creation out in the world, what have you found that works to break through all the noise? Because everyone's a writer, everyone's a photographer. Things that have worked to get your work noticed and get that feedback.
Sure. So now we'll talk marketing. Let me flip the other hat. Plain and simple, I mean, you have to start building your community before you need it. If you're ever going to write a book, you're ever going to sing a song, you're ever going to paint things, start building that fan base, which is a really weird word to use. So I usually say community. You've got to build that ahead of time. You have to have those first line people who are going to look at it at least and go, "Oh, dude, that's good," or "That's bad." And then you have, which is the hardest thing for most creatives, you have to turn into a promoter. You have to. You have to be pimping your book. You have to be pimping your painting, whatever it is. And that sucks. Talk about humility and feeling humble because you're like, "Hey, buy my book!" And you just feel, at least for me, I feel a little slimy doing that. But you have to. It's the only way you're going to break through the noise. You have to do some grunt work too. I mean, whatever your creation is, you know, like when Amazing Things Will Happen came out, it was a totally different audience than my previous book. So I had to go find these audiences, go find people that I thought might like the book. I mean, if you're an author, Goodreads is a great place to do research. It's now owned by Amazon. To research who out there might like this book, who's read books comparative to mine. Same thing with paintings or songs, you know. Finding those people out there that you can actually reach out and say, "Hey, I've got this new whatever. Would you please check it out?" And thankfully, one of the neat things about social media is these communities have already started forming. You know, if you're a photographer, there's photography communities galore. Flickr's sort of a community, 500ps, I mean, there's all these different communities. Google Plus, the one thing they did right was photos. They didn't do much else right, but they did that one right. Huge photography people there for feedback and input. But you've got to find those communities and put it out there in front of them and say, "Hey, can you please take a look at this? Check this out." Then there's a million more marketing tactics, but the key is you have to. If you're going to kickstart something, you want to have a community of fans that you can go to first. When you have a new book coming out, or a new painting, or a new whatever, you want that core community of fans that you can send stuff to. I mean, I've been building my email list for years, and I don't market to build my email list, but I know I can just send an email out, and it'll reach, you know, now after 10 years, it'll reach several thousand people. But it took years to get there. And unfortunately, what happens is too often, you want it at the last minute. Oh, I got this new thing. Okay, you're gonna really have to knock around a lot. Because it is hard. It's hard to break through. Especially with all the noise out there. And there's lots of noise. I wish I could tell you the silver bullet, but there isn't one. Unless you have a lot of money. Then it's easy. Breaking through the noise is easy, but I'm having a feeling probably nobody in this room has that problem with too much money in their pocket. If so, come talk. Yeah.
It's a little bit of a subjective question, but what do you think the line is between confidence and arrogance? Because like you said before, a big thing for me is sometimes I feel like I'm too humble because I want to be confident, but I don't want to be seen as that guy.
It is a razor thin line, right?
Yeah.
And that's my number one problem. No, I mean, truthfully, I'm here telling you this stuff. It is the number one problem for me to say, listen, I'm really good. You should hire me to do this. Whatever, as far as like marketing and storytelling and content marketing, I'm really damn good. But I can't ever say that. I'm getting better at it. My rule of thumb is if you feel dirty saying it, you might have crossed the line. I mean, because it's hard to know, right? Because different people have different thresholds, and sometimes I'll see friends say something, and I'm like, really? But it's working. They're getting paid for it. And I'm like, God, maybe I should do more of that. But I can't because I don't feel. If it feels weird to you, you've probably crossed the line for you because the line is different for everybody, right? Because one thing I've learned is what you think has crossed the line, probably most people wouldn't, right? Most people be like, no, you're fine. If you feel really bad about it, then you're definitely crossing the line. It's different for everybody. I have friends who promote themselves way too salesy, sleazy in my mind, but it's working for them. So I'm like, you know what? They got their pimp hat on. It's all good. But it's hard, right? I mean, I can put on confidence right here, but I guarantee you, afterwards, when I'm sending an email to people, it won't be as strong. When I'm on stage, I'm wicked confident. Somebody right here, I know, right? Yeah.
I just want to add to that. I just think it's you can say a lot, but ultimately it comes down to your actions and taking the steps that you need to take to make what you want to have happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a balance. You can have a crappy product and sell it hard and make the money, but, if you have a sort of a humble approach that is still confident with a product that is quality and on point, you find your own balance in and around that, and you'll be okay.
I would agree. Yeah.
Hi, confidence or cocky? Raising your hand at this talk to ask a question. I'll agonize over that later. But
But you did it.
Yeah, I know I did it. But my radar is I don't watch broadcast TV normally, but once in a while I'll be in a hotel on business and it'll be like America's Got Talent, and there'll be some singer, totally off key, totally horrible. Judges tell her that, or him that. And then they say, they don't know what they're talking about. I'm awesome. I am awesome, and I'm just going to come back next week. And I look at that and go, wow, I need some of that. Mm. And there's thin line between being creative, for me anyway, being creative, wanting to do good work, having the perspective to do good work, and then having what you were just saying, the promotional sense to say, I got to get out there like that person on stage and just push it and believe in it. And it's a hard thing.
And those people, I would almost bet those people that get out on those stages like that and say that, they've been on stage a while. They've done it a while. They've been shot down. They've bombed. There's nothing worse than getting on a stage and messing up. Yeah. Years and years. The more you do it, the easier it gets with it. I mean, people always ask me how did I get comfortable on stage. I joke. I was doing Shakespeare in college. You have a donkey's head on, and you hear your Italian grandmother laughing in the third row. Yeah. You can do anything, and that's why even though I'm nervous as all hell every time I get in front of an audience, I know what's the worst that's really going to happen. Yeah. And that's what I always tell myself.
Yep. No, I'm with.
And whenever I tell people I'm nervous, they're like, you didn't look nervous. I'm like, good, because that's what I'm trying to cover up. But the more you do it, the easier it gets. And it does have a lot to do with your personality, for sure.
I just want to add one quick thing, because I love what you said, Nancy Reagan was right, just say no.
I was like, what?
But there's a great talk, and that kind of blew me away. I think the woman's name is Edna Baker. It's a Moth Radio Hour, and she's a Mormon woman living in New York City, age 24, saying no to sex.
Oh, okay.
And she transforms that into, when you say no to some things, the world of possibilities that opens up. So when you said that, I think it's really true. You have to say no if you're going to be open to what's really there for you.
Right. If you want another talk to kickstart yourselves, I don't know, any Brene Brown fans in this room?
Yeah.
That makes me happy. Wait. Sorry, don't give me. How many guys know who Brene Brown is? All right, so keep yourself educated. She's so amazing. Her book. I mean, I had the pleasure of meeting Brene, and she's done some great TED Talks of vulnerability. I mean, it's beautiful. Her book, Daring Greatly, is if you ever want to feel Daring Greatly, her book is just. I gave it out for Christmas to everybody I knew a couple years ago because it is such a good book, and it kind of gives you that kick in the pants to jump in the arena. She talks about the great Theodore Roosevelt quote, "Getting in the arena." Great. Check Brene Brown out. She's fantastic. And you ever get to see her talk? Run to see her speak. I know she's speaking at Inbound this year here in Boston. I cannot wait because I can't wait to see her. She's so good.
Oh, on that topic of Brene Brown, I just want to share. To read Amanda Palmer's The Art of Asking. Brene Brown writes her forward, and it's about that, about not being afraid to ask for help and being able to say no, and your worth and your value about being a creative and being an artist.
I have such mixed feelings about that.
Oh, well, they kind of go hand in hand.
They do. Amanda Palmer. I don't know. She's talk about. She doesn't have to be right for everybody, right? Sometimes she opens her mouth and I applaud, and sometimes I just want to scream at her. So she's polarizing. I mean, she's confident, right? She knows what she has to say, so it's awesome. But Amanda's talk was fantastic.
Yeah.
Her TED Talk is fantastic. So good.
Unfortunately, we got to stop there.
One more?
Can do one
One more, do it. Go
One more.
on.
Woo! See, he was confident enough. He had to do it.
So one of the things I struggle with is productivity within creativity. So right? So I'm wondering if you have any productivity apps, aids, or systems in place to, for lack of a better term, get your shit done.
I am the worst at productivity. I've tried all the systems. Definitely, I will pimp my buddy Mike Vardy, the productivist. So Mike Vardy, he's right for Life Hacker. He does a whole podcast series and books on productivity, and he's fantastic. It's something I work at. I am really bad at productivity. I really am. And I'll admit, there are days where I just crank, and then there's days where I don't do anything. And I want to. I'm okay with taking a day off, but there's days where I want to do something and I don't. I mean, I was doing these slides last night because it was one of those things I kept changing them. Not out of perfection, but just, I want this to be better, I want this to be different. But I wish I had some magic thing. Write it all down. My notebook is, my field notes notebook is my Bible. It's where I don't leave home without it.
Yeah. So I have an idea to gamify productivity. I have an app idea.
Cool. Make it happen.
That might just be my excuse to just say, yeah, I'm just trying to be more productive.
Who knows? But it could change the world.
Right.
Who knows, right?
Follow it.
Make it happen and then bring it here and you get on stage and tell everybody about this amazing productivity app. How many people want to play with gamifying productivity? Anybody want to play with that? Maybe not. No one really I don't know. I tried.
Yeah, right. There we go.
Cool. All right, everybody. One more round of applause.